Hello guys, recently I bought a loose Casio Loopy for like really cheap, and I noticed that if you look at the back, there's only composite output, and I was really surprised to see that no one was really trying to get RGB out of it. So I decided to take a look at the source code in MAME, and if you I noticed something really interesting. So it says uh, Sony CXA 1645M RGB encoder. So it takes RGB and converts it down to composite video. So this means that technically you could actually get analog RGB and output it to, well, whatever you want. So this console internally works in RGB, not in composite. And you see, that was what I was afraid of. So if you know the NES, for example, that console, it works internally in composite only. Now, sure, there is like a PPU that can output RGB, but the original one and the one that got into the NES consoles, that can only work in a composite. So the Casio Loopy actually outputs RGB, or to be more precise, analog RGB, which comes actually from the video DAC. And the video DAC is actually integrated inside the main ASIC. And from the main ASIC, it outputs on analog RGB. So unfortunately, this means that we won't see like an HDMI mod for it because the video DAC is actually integrated inside the main ASIC, which is a bit of a shame, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, I decided to take a look at the motherboard. So no, not that one. So yeah, so this is what a Casio Loopy motherboard looks like. But the chip that we are really interested in is this one. So this is the RGB encoder that I was talking about. So below, these are the output input pins, and above, so 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 here, uh, yeah, so here you can, well, these are the output and these are the input. So basically, what you need to get composite video is simply provide the console with analog RGB, and well, and analog RGB is pin 2, pin 3, and pin 4. And there's also a subcarrier used. I'm not sure what the subcarrier is for. And right after that, there's another pin, which is called N pin, and it's actually used for switching between NTSC and PAL modes. So it's quite interesting, really, because this sort of implies that Casio may have been planning on releasing it in Europe at least, or in PAL region. So quite interesting. But if you look at the output pins, you can see that all the RGB lines are not actually used. So in the case of our video encoder, uh, the RGB output pins are pin 21, 22, and 23. And 24 is basically ground for RGB and composite. So yeah, what is that to say? Oh yeah, right. So there's a device which is called like the magical shop device, and basically can take like a composite input. So I was maybe wondering like if maybe it passes through composite and RGB and uses the encoder to do that, but I don't think that's actually possible without external circuitry. And from what I gather, uh, the magical shop device, I think what it does is take composite input and convert it to RGB again. I'm not sure if it's like digital RGB or analog RGB. I'm not actually sure on that. But yeah, it must be converting it in some way to RGB. So I think that we should probably not worry about the magical shop device. I think it will work as is. And now you may wonder, like, well, where's the sync? And you can just simply take the sync from the composite output. It will pretty much work the same. Now, it won't be ideal, but you know, it does the job, and it will still be better than just being stuck with composite. So now that's just the theory of it. I'm not actually sure what's going on, but from what I see, this console actually output from the slot analog RGB. So I hope to eventually get like my console so I can experiment with it and see if I can really get RGB out of it. But unfortunately, I don't really have a controller for it. As I said earlier, I bought it loose and I can't actually find a controller or the mouse for it. Now the other problem, um, so as you can see, there's not a ton of space for a Genesis 2 female port, and I'm not actually sure where I could put it because it needs to be on a flat surface, and I don't really want to destroy the look of the console. I'm possibly thinking of maybe putting it, you know, just above the composite lines, composite output ports, because there seems to be like sort of a flat surface here. But I'm not actually sure if it's like if that space is taken by like the aluminum shield or whatever. So anyway, guys, so that was my thoughts on the Casio Loopy and whether or not an RGB mod would be doable on it. And I think it's actually possible because looking at the specs of it, it seems to output analog RGB. Now, if you were wondering if you could like get digital RGB out of it, and the answer to that would be probably no, because well, it's the video DAC is actually inside the main ASIC. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but whatever. So anyway, thank you and bye.